Well, guys, it looks like we were right. Ted here from Immersion with another Unearthed Arcana review. As promised, we're right on track. This just came out earlier today. And as discussed, Wizards of the Coast is going alphabetically. I think we've proven it now. Which means next Monday we're going to get Paladins, then Rangers, Rogues, Sorcerers, Warlock, Wizard. They might not give us new Ranger, considering they just did Revised Ranger, but maybe. So, we got two new monks. I feel like monks possibly could have used a little bit more. In the player's handbook, you had the three open hand, shadow, and element, or four elements, or whatever it is. The elemental one is useless. Look at it. It takes way too many key points to do spells that people could do many levels earlier. Open fist, or open palm, or whatever it is, that's a pretty good one. And Shadow is probably the best, I think, out of the player's handbook, although Sword Coast Adventure Guide did give us Long Death and Sun Soul. Sun Soul probably being the premier winner because Sun Soul gives you ranged as a monk. But these two new ones I'm a big fan of, and I think I'm going to be switching my character that I play on our games tomorrow on Tuesday to be one of these paths. So, or ways, I should say. I almost mentioned this last night when I said, when I did or earlier today by the time you saw it, the fighter archetypes, how they had pretty much everything except, I was going to say except for the Kensei, but I had a feeling that that might be a monk thing. And here we go. Sorry if you hear the jingling, it's my dog's in the background. So we got the Kensei here with the monk. So what is a Kensei? It is sort of a weapon master, if you will. Someone that trains with a weapon, hones their body, and kind of makes it an extension of themselves. Would you stop running around? So, monk is the path of the Kensei monk. So remember, with all of these, maybe it's Kensei, I think it's Kensei, based on how it's written. I've seen when other people do homebrews, they do AI, so I'm not sure. But you're a monk that focuses on weapons. So, you gain proficiency in 3 martial weapons of your choice. I'd probably go with one of the D8 weapons, a longsword of some kind, one of the two-handed 2d6 weapons, like a greatsword or a maul, and then a polearm. I think that's a really cool idea, is the monk with the polearm. I think that's a cool feature. Although, that's a little difficult to come by because you're going to need lots of stats as a monk. So, not only that, is a martial weapon is considered a Kensei weapon for you if you're proficient with it. Whenever you wield a Kensei weapon, you can choose to use your Dex or Strength for that attack and damage rolls, and you can choose whether to use your martial arts damage die in place of your weapon's damage die. So, these three, I believe that means, so you choose these, now you can use Dex with a greatsword, or Dex with a maul, or Dex with a polearm, which is pretty cool. And then when you attack, this is the one that tripped me up the most, so we're going to read through this one carefully. When you use the attack, take the attack action on your turn and hit a target with a Kensei weapon. So you gotta swing and hit. You can use a bonus action to pummel the target, dealing an additional d4 bludgeoning damage to that target and to any other target you hit with the weapon as part of the attack. So you have to take the attack action and you have to hit them with the weapon first. Then you use your bonus action to do a d4 bludgeoning damage to that to that target and to any other target you hit with the weapon as part of the attack. So then if you hit one guy and then hit another guy, you're just adding essentially a d4 damage to both. And then lastly, if you make an unarmed strike as part of the attack action on your turn and you're holding a Kensei weapon, you can use the weapon, use that weapon to defend yourself. You gain a +2 bonus to AC until the start of your next turn, while you are not incapacitated and the weapon is in your hand. Point of fact with this, talking about two-handed weapons, it's been confirmed by folks at Wizards of the Coast that a two-handed weapon doesn't completely dominate two hands all the time. It's only two hands when you're attacking. So if you have a greatsword, it's not like you can't take your hand off the sword and cast a spell or punch somebody. It's only two-handed when you're swinging. So keep that in mind. So with this, you could, and hear me out, swing twice with your greatsword, blow a key point to flurry of blows, punch twice, And because you did that as part of your... Unless that means your actual attack action itself, not the bonus action from Flurry of Blows, which would then be one swing and a punch, and now your AC goes up by 2. Still not a bad way to go about it. Level 6, again a great ability. Your weapon, your Kensei weapons are now magic weapons, regardless of what they are. And you also get Precise Strike. As a bonus action, pick a creature within 30 feet of you. The next weapon attack you make against that creature during the current turn adds double your proficiency bonus to the attack roll, rather than normal your proficiency bonus. Once you use this ability, you can't use it again until a short or long rest. I'm not entirely sure how... I mean, sorry. Anything that adds a solid bonus to anything that you're doing is great. I still don't know if that's worth once per short rest. Maybe this would be one of those ones where they add it as 3 times per short or long rest, but I digress. I mean, getting any weapon that you pick up of any 3 martial weapons of your choice being magic weapons is great. Sharpen the Blade is the 11th level ability. As a bonus action, you spend 3 key points, grant a weapon you touch a bonus to attack and damage while you wield it. So you can essentially spend 3 key points and turn whatever weapon you're wielding into a +3 weapon that lasts for a minute. Although it would also be magic from level 6, so you could essentially, for 3 key points, make yourself a +3 weapon every short rest for a minute in combat. And lastly is Unerring Accuracy. On each of your turns, you can reroll 1 weapon attack roll you make that misses, which is huge because it specifically states if you miss. A lot of those times, with those kind of abilities, it'll say before the DM tells you if you miss or hit. This specifically states when you miss, so you have the ability to, once per turn, not even using your reaction, just once per turn you can reroll and take a new attack. Pretty cool. I think that you gotta remember, it's all of that coupled with all of all of the monk abilities, the stunning strike attacks, the proficiency in all your saving throws, slow fall, immunity to magical or immunity to poison and disease, all that kind of stuff, all that coupled with this. And lastly, we have the Way of Tranquility Monk, which is the one that I will probably be playing in tomorrow's game. I think it borders slightly on OP, but I'll let you decide. So, at 3rd level, you get the Path of Tranquility. With this feature, you can cast a Sanctuary spell on yourself. No material components are required, and it lasts up to 8 hours. The saving throw is Wisdom-based, like all your key ones. 8, plus your proficiency bonus, plus your Wisdom modifier. A creature that succeeds on the save is immune to this effect for 1 hour. For those of you who don't know what Sanctuary does, when someone tries to attack you specifically with a weapon attack or a spell that targets you specifically, they need to make a Wisdom saving throw, and if they fail, they just basically waste the attack or they can't target you. AoE stuff still hits you, but direct targets don't. But the kicker, what I feel like almost makes this a little OP in and of itself, is that once you cast the spell in this way, you can't do so again for a minute. But that means every minute you can have Sanctuary up, and it lasts for 8 hours. So you're basically, they might as well just say you are constantly under the effects of Sanctuary, because that's basically what it's going to be. And then, why I'm really taking it, is Healing Hands, the 3rd level ability. You restore a total number of hit points equal to your monk level times 10. As an action, you can touch a creature. It works like Lay on Hands. Touch a creature to draw power from that pool to restore a number of hit points to that creature, up to the maximum amount in the healing pool. Alternatively, you can use 5 to cure somebody of a poison or disease. You can use multiples to basically cure a poison, a disease, and heal people all at once if you want to use multiples. So that, I thought, was pretty cool in and of itself, but then, when you use your Flurry of Blows, you can replace one of the Unarmed Strike with the use of this feature. It says no effects on undeads and on constructs. I don't know if that literally hard codes it so that you can only do 1, because that could mean you take the attack action, punch twice, use your Flurry of Blows, and then Lay on Hands 2 people. Unless it means you can only do it 1 time. It's really not specific enough. Emissary of Peace, this is this whole tranquility, non-violence type of situation. This is it's a really good RP one, and I do kind of like it. Whenever you make a charisma check, unfortunately as a monk, you're probably not going to have a very high charisma, just because it's not going to be one. I mean, it could be if you're going for RP or you rolled exceptionally well, but typically when you look at a monk, you already need a good strength, wisdom, and constitution. You're probably not going to be able to get a good charisma 2 unless you rolled stats. Whenever you make a charisma check to calm violent emotions or to counsel peace, you have advantage on the roll. You must make this entreaty in good faith. It doesn't apply in proficiency in deception or intimidation. You also gain proficiency in your choice of performance or persuasion. In my case, I'll be taking persuasion, and then I'll have advantage on those checks. At 11, you get Doused the Flames of War. As an action, you can touch a creature, and it must make a wisdom saving throw. Again, like your key saving throw, 8 plus your proficiency bonus plus your wisdom modifier. The target automatically succeeds if it's missing any hit points at all. That's regardless of whether you do the damage, just missing hit points. If the target fails its save, it can't attack for 1 minute. Just period. During that time, it also can't cast spells that deal damage or that force someone to make a saving throw. There's that thing again we were talking about in one of the other videos. Something that makes you make a saving throw. So it's not an attack. Even there's a lot of almost benign things that could cause you to use a saving throw, so that doesn't work. This effect ends if the target is attacked, takes damage, or is forced to make a saving throw, or if the target witnesses any of these things happening to its ally. So you could theoretically, touch somebody and douse the flames of war in this person, and then they're just completely docile, and then you just tie them up, take their weapons away, take their items away, tie them up, because they can't hurt you. So, pretty cool concept. Again, it goes along with that whole pacifism, I feel like I imagine this is sort of like an Avatar Aang, like taking the bending away for a minute. And then lastly, Anger of the Gentle Soul, which I think is a really cool concept on top of. I've been saying really cool a lot. But this is the tranquil, healing, almost pacifist monk. The one that, kind of almost like a more traditional, what people sometimes think of when they think monk. The one that wants to try to encourage peace in everyone and not go violence, but if you piss them off, they're gonna wreck you, and that comes in at level 17. If you see a creature reduce another creature to 0 hit points, you can use your reaction to grant yourself a bonus to all damage rolls against the aggressor until the end of your next turn. The bonus equals your monk level. Once you use this ability, you can't use it again until you finish a short or long rest. So, the bad guy, you trying to let him go, knocks your ally down to 0, knocks him unconscious. You get pissed, you use your reaction and you do this, then you stroll up to this guy, punch twice with the attack action, and then use Flurry of Blows and hit twice more. That is... we are at 17. If we're at 17, a minimum of 68 damage just from the base, from the bonus from Anger of Gentle Soul, not including any other things that you're going to be adding, probably a D10 at that point, as well as your modifier, and then maybe if you have any kind of magic weapons or you're using an item, maybe like a magic club or quarterstaff or what have you. Sorry guys, that's the 2 new monks, the 2 new monk ways. I keep saying paths, but the 2 new monk ways. So, like I said, what do you guys think about these? I think both of these are pretty solid. I get that feeling a lot with fighters as well. You get everything else that they get normally. These are ones that I seem to really forget about. Like, they have so much other cool things. I can't wait to see what they do with the rogues, because rogues get a lot of really cool abilities as well. But these just add an immense amount of utility. I think the Kensei is one I've seen homebrewed immensely, or different variations of that, but the monk, the weapon-wielding monk, who, with the samurai in the fighters, and then the Kensei here, we have a lot of cool combinations that you could possibly do. Maybe you were a samurai, and then you became a Kensei, or however, you're both, whatever you want to do. Interesting concepts for characters, and I really like the Way of the Tranquility Monk. It actually works out perfectly in my campaign, that we're going to, the Out of the Abyss campaign. So I'm really pumped for that. I'm going to be doing that. Let me know what you guys think of these two. How do they stack up against the other monks? How do they stack up against everything else that's come out in Unearthed Arcana so far? And if you're feeling really speculative, What do you think we're going to get in new Paladins come next Monday, the 20th? Monday the 19th. My thought? Something dragon related. Some sort of Oath of the Dragon. That's what I'm hoping for. Or maybe a Blackguard, like a anti-Paladin. I know we have the Oath Breaker Paladin, but what if your Oath is to be evil? Or the anti-Paladin? I'd be curious to see that as well. So anyway, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you next time.